Hey guys, this is Rhett with Section 8 Real Estate Investing. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave your comments, questions. I'll make sure I get to all of them. Today we have a topic that's very near and dear to my heart. Property walkthrough no-nos. Okay, a lot of you guys want to go out, you want to go look at your properties, you want to see a potential property to add to your portfolio or that you want to buy. Problem is, you don't know what to look for, okay? Now, we're not going to go over all the little small things here, okay? You know, is when the refrigerator door opens, does it hit the counter, right? We're not looking at that stuff. We're looking at the big stuff. This is the stuff, the deal breakers, the absolute no-nos, okay? Now, a lot of times, if you're like me and you're buying in some areas that are maybe underserved communities, maybe they're bank-owned, they're foreclosures, they're auction properties. When you buy these things, you get them under contract, there are no inspection contingencies, which means you cannot send a home inspector out to that property to make sure it's up to par. You can't do it. If you're lucky, you're gonna be able to get out there once, maybe twice, to look through the house and do a walkthrough before you make your offer, okay? Now, that's very important because you're gonna need an eye for the big money repairs, because if you don't see them during that walkthrough, a home inspector that you pay $500, $200 isn't going to be able to catch it for you, okay? So this is incredibly important, right? So these are some of the biggest things to look for when you go on your walkthrough. Asbestos and lead. Guys, don't buy a property that has any asbestos or any lead. On contracts, there should be a no lead paint certificate that says the seller has no idea if there's lead paint in the house or not, okay? You need to look for lead paint. Check the flakes, see if it's on the outside of the house, look at the inside, go to the cellar, check for asbestos, okay? If there's any lead paint or asbestos, it doesn't matter what the price is, it's gonna cost you a fortune to get rid of that stuff. It's not even worth it, okay? Water damage. Is there water damage in the ceiling? Is the ceiling different color? Okay. The roof and water damage go hand in hand. Before you go in the house, go to the street and look up at the property. Look at the roof. Is it sloped in any way? Don't look right from the front door. Go 50, 60 yards down the street and look at the roof. Is it sloped? Is it caved in? Are there shingles missing? Okay. Is the gutter hanging off on one side that maybe you didn't see from underneath the house? Right? Is there a big divot in the roof anywhere? These are all signs of bad water damage, okay? Is the sheathing coming off underneath? The roof is gonna tell you more about water damage than you're gonna see from the inside, right? Now, maybe a seller goes in before you go in there and paints the ceiling or paints the wall, but they're not gonna, change the roof, okay? So, check the roof out and check it from a distance, okay? Compare it to some other roofs in the neighborhood. See if it's healthy. Ask when the last time the roof was done was, okay? A lot of roofs, 10-year, 15-year, 20-year roofs, okay? So ask the seller when the last time they had the roof done was, okay? Other kinds of water damage, guys. Look at staining outside on the foundation, okay? Is there a gold discoloration, a brown discoloration on some parts of the foundation? Is there a brown discoloration outside some of the basement windows? Maybe on the front walkway. Guys, these are signs of water damage that pour out of the house, okay? If there's a crawl space, look in it. Is it damp? Is it wet? Probably. Is there standing water? That's a problem, okay? Water ruins everything, right? So when you're walking around this house, check that when you're looking at the foundation. We're gonna get into more about foundation here in a little bit. But look for wood on the outside of the house. Is wood falling apart? That's water damage. Is the house on the top of a hill? If not, is it on the bottom of a hill where if it rains, all that rainwater is gonna go down? Odds are they've probably had water issues if the house isn't in a good area with proximity to hills, if it's at the bottom of the neighborhood versus at the top of the neighborhood, all right? Electrical. Electrical is expensive. Go to the box, okay? Go to the electric panel. Is it a new panel? Is it a fuse box, which is old and gonna have to be updated? Is there any charring? If there's any charring in the electrical, if there's any black smoke damage, it looks like anything's caught on fire, it probably has. You don't want that, okay? If there's been an electrical fire in the panel or the box, it could mean it fried a line into the wall. It's a mess. So when you go into these properties, look for the panels, open them, see what their situation is. Is it all destroyed? Are there wires everywhere? Or is it good? Does it look good? Okay? Look at that stuff, guys. That's a good telltale sign of the condition of the electrical, especially in smaller houses. If it's a smaller house and the electrical box looks good and all the wiring is there and everything looks fine and there's no signs of fires or anything, you're probably in decent shape. If it's a bigger house and there's multiple panels, right? A little harder to tell, but you still need to look, okay? Sloping and uneven foundations. Guys, if you're in a property and you take a pencil and roll it on the floor and it rolls to the side, that's a problem, okay? If you take a ruler, I take a big yardstick to a lot of properties I go to, and I put it on the floor, and one part of the yardstick is on the floor and the other part of the yardstick is up off the floor, it's because the floor tilts downwards, okay? That's a huge problem, right? That means you have foundational issues. That means you have joist problems underneath the house if there's a crawl space. You don't want to get into properties like that. Another thing, look at windows, guys. Windows are a telltale sign of sloping. If you're looking at the side of a house and a window is sideways a little bit, it's sloping. Foundational issues, right? Now, foundational issues could be a lot of things. Maybe the house is sliding. Maybe the foundation was poured incorrectly. If it's an older house, if it's years and years old, if it's on a crawl space, maybe there were termites that we're gonna get there, but have eaten away the joists underneath and now the house is sloping. If the house looks like it's sloping, it probably is. Please don't buy it, okay? That's a lot of money. It's very expensive to reinforce exterior walls that might be sliding off the foundation. I've had to do it. It's a nightmare. Please don't even buy it, okay? Rot and termites. I know we talked a little bit about that with regards to joists underneath. Now, joists are in crawl spaces that go underneath the floor and they help lift the house, right? They keep the house up. They are supports. If you have termites, people think a lot of time, okay, termites in the walls, right, attribute to rot. If and that's bad, right? You need to get a whole new wall. And so if the wall is a support wall, you're in trouble. But the joists are even worse. If termites are in the joists, because they eat the joists, they eat the support for the house, eventually the house is gonna come down, okay? So making sure there are no termites is very, very important. If you're gonna buy a house in a kind of a rougher area, an area where you know there might be some termite issues, guys, pay a couple $100 and get it inspected for termites. You don't want to buy a house and realize that it's got bad supports and there's too much rot for you to be able to do anything, okay? Look at all the wood in the house, okay? If there's any exposed areas where you can see into a wall, look. If you grab a piece of wood and you pull it and the whole piece of wood comes apart in your hands, okay, it means there are termites. That is termite rot. Don't buy the house. If it's an old infestation that has been taken care of, that's fine. If it hasn't been taken care of and it's an old infestation, but maybe you're buying a house that hasn't been lived in 10, 15 years, that's a problem, okay? Try and stay away from termites. Rot is terribly bad. A little bit of rot here and there is fine. A little bit of rot outside on the soffits of the house, on the front porch, outside, that's okay. Make sure the big things aren't. Make sure the interior walls don't have rot on the insides. Make sure if you can see through any sheetrock, if there is a hole in the wall, there's no rot in the walls. And make sure the joists under the house and there's no rot anywhere near the foundation of the house, guys, okay? Lastly, elements. I have elements buried down here. What I mean by that is, if there are open doors in the house that you're buying, maybe it's been vacant, people have been living in there, okay? Or open windows, try and stay away. Homes that are exposed to the elements for a certain amount of time get totaled. Rain, extreme exposure to heat, extreme exposure to cold. Guys, that ruins homes. Homes are built out of wood, okay? Wood is not, doesn't sustain water, heat, and freezing cold very well when you put it all on the wood, right? You have expanding and contracting. You have water. It's creating a ton of pressure. You have bugs. You have mold. You have all these issues, guys. extreme moisture, extreme heat, okay? I have a lot of properties in Birmingham, Alabama, where it is 100 degrees in the summer with 95% humidity. That's a killer, okay? So if you're buying places in areas that have very hot summers with very high humidity, right? Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Tennessee, and you have some open windows or open doors, and maybe you're buying a property that hasn't been lived in a year, 2 years, don't do it, okay? That stuff totally ruins property. All right, guys, if there's anything I didn't touch on in this video, make sure to leave it in the comments or ask questions. Appreciate you watching. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video. I'm Rhett. I look forward to giving you guys some more stuff here soon. Thanks for your time.